little bit. I have a strong voice. I heard a lot about people say, how do we get passion back in our practice? I think everybody here in this room have a practice exactly the way they want it. Is that correct? Could there be some improvement in your practice? I'm going to try to make something really simple of why we have such a situation in our chiropractic profession. Because we're all at fault. We're all at fault. And I want you to understand something. I didn't know what I wanted to speak on, and so what I always do is I go to the green book, I open a page and say, this is what I'm going to speak on today. So I want to just read this small paragraph from BJ and help you understand what has gone wrong with this profession, how you can stop this burnout, and how you can start reaching more people. He said this: today medical men have taken over the dominating control of human beings, from birth to death. They usher us in and they usher us out. On the theory they know all and everything about us worth knowing. They say that we know nothing and are too ignorant to know anything about ourselves. They say their knowledge is all supreme. They say we are too incompetent and ignorant on health matters to even express an opinion. Meanwhile, they vaccinate our children, consider them public property, dope our drinking water, immunize our soldiers with shot after shot, force build an epidemic when business is low or slow, whether one is existing, justified, or not. DJ was telling us that the medical profession has a circle from birth to death. They control everything about that. The interesting thing about it is that the chiropractic profession is a triangle. We have a philosophy, we have an art, and we have a science. And unfortunately, in the last 30 years, we allowed an industry to control the chiropractic colleges. And I was wrong, because I blamed the colleges. I started realizing, no, it was CCE. But what they were doing was more and more students were coming out of chiropractic school with less and less philosophy, making it more and more difficult for them to understand that the power comes from a triangle. And that's what chiropractic is about. If you have the philosophy, it gears you towards science, it gears you towards art. It is your way of being able to reach the masses. The medical profession tried to destroy chiropractic in the early days. And you know what they found out? They could not challenge the philosophy because it was truth. Whatever they tried to do, it went backwards on them, and chiropractic practices kept growing and growing and growing through its merits. So they changed their position. They said, well, if we can't destroy the chiropractic profession, let's destroy the way chiropractors look at their philosophy. And that's what they have done. They allowed us to get into insurance. We'll pay whatever we pay the medical doctors for acceptance. And so what we've done in our profession is to say, okay, I want to join the medical system, so I'm going to take that, I want to do insurance. Oh, I want to start adding massage to it. All right? Oh, this isn't working now because I'm not in my philosophy anymore. I'm adjusting, the symptom isn't going away, so I'm going to start symptom treating. And all while we are losing our profession. Why? Because you want to treat backache and neck aches? How many chiropractors are putting on their codes that are adjusting low backaches, neck aches, and pain? Because you're still part of the solution, part of the problem. Because as long as we play their game, we are not going to reach the masses. As a profession, we have just been taking the triangle out, watering it down, breaking it up, until we're like them. What is the difference? If they're basing their health care on symptom relief, don't they tell you the symptoms? If you feel good, you're healthy. If you feel bad, you're sick. What are the chiropractors saying? Well, you're feeling better, so we can cut you down on care now. How can you tell two stories and be congruent? How can you say that you're there to reach the potential of that human being, to have that brain-body connection, and then tell them, how's your backache? You can't be congruent if you're doing both sides. It doesn't work. We need to clarify what we do in this profession. We have to clarify what we do in our practices. You can't say one thing and do another, and you do it. And we compromise. Oh, it won't hurt. I could do that. I did that with vitamins. Oh, I only 10% of my practice will have vitamins, and I got 50% profit. Hey, that's not bad. And after a while, it was 90% people were on vitamins. Until one man came into my desk at my office, and I had a whole packed office. I gave him the vitamins. He slammed them down and said, that's why I came to you in the first place, and walked out the door. That day I threw out $15,000 worth of vitamins in the trash. Because that was not my job. And he called me on it. He called me on it. I hear doctors say, well, I want the patients to be able to get insurance coverage. That's not your job. Patients are coming to you because somebody's paying for it. That's an easy sell. Are we in this for a business? Are we in it to change lives? We're all thought, me, you, anybody who's done that in the past. We're like this. We got to get the triangle back. That's where our strength is, the philosophy, the art, the science. We say we're in the health field. Are we really in the health field? What do people look at when they say it's healthy? When somebody says, I'm healthy, what do they say? I feel good. Is that health? Is that what you want to be into? Chiropractic has nothing to do with health. Never did. Never did. Are we there for emergency first aid, emergency care? No. That's their field. We need to have the medical profession, folks. They're there. We need to have them for first aid, emergency care. Absolutely. But you got to remember something. They look at the body in pieces and sections. They are first aid people. They're first aid people. They have no idea why the body breaks down. They can't, because if you look at the body in pieces and never look at the whole body, they'll never understand that. You got more power than a medical doctor if you have that understanding. Because they're first aid people. We need to have that. But when people come into you and they say, well, I have this symptom, I have this symptom, I have this symptom, I have symptoms, they don't have those symptoms. They're just names given to them by the medical system. Either the body's healing or it's not healing. That's your only diagnosis. Is the body healing or not healing? And what controls the healing capability is not you. I'm sorry, doctors, it's not you. You're an instrument. You're a person that understands the universal intelligence related to the innate intelligence, the innate wisdom of the body for healing and repairing. And it's your job to do the best adjustment that you can to send that force in there, but your force is not changing that vertebrae off that nerve or interfere with that nerve influx. It is the innate wisdom that does it. And thank goodness, because most of us aren't that accurate anyhow. And innate is going to take that force, either accept it or reject it. You want to change lives? Man, we have to go back to basics again. I haven't done insurance for 13 years, 14 years, and people are saying, well, man, people can't afford me. They can't come in. Well, then lower your prices a little bit. Or they can't afford coming in so regularly. That's your head problem. That's your head space. Because as long as you believe that, you can't change anything. Your head space determines where you're going to be in practice. The headspace is when you touch that practice member, they know that doctor knows what they're doing. And you don't have to tell them a whole story. Or they say, Doc, can you help my lower back? I hear chiropractic, oh yeah, I can. You can? How? Well, it was right here at L5, and I adjusted L5, and he felt better. Did he really? So you think if you get rid of the symptoms, that person's healthy. Well, I'm going to tell you, people can have cancer, they can have diabetes, they can have a tumor developing, they can have heart disease developing for years and years and years, and they feel fantastic. How dare you treat symptoms? And yet most of us do that when we have to put those stupid codes in. I've been in practice for 42 years, and it's so frustrating. But you know what's beautiful about it is that I see the young doctors here, they're going to bail us out. You young students, if you get the message as we had years ago, before we ever had insurance, we were wildfire, we were building, the practices were growing. The minute we got into insurance, the practices went down, or we started doing all this other stuff. They couldn't tell the difference if we were a chiropractor, an osteopath, because we're doing everything else. We're doing everything else. You have 10 symptoms. Does that mean the person has 10 problems? Oh, yes. I have a code for this, I have a code for that, and I have a code for that. Do we really have 10 problems? Or is it because one area of the body isn't doing its job and now affects this organ over here that depends upon this organ doing its job, so it alters its position. Now it affects this organ over here, and it's a mushrooming effect. And the more symptoms they have, the more it tells you, the longer the body's breaking down. As chiropractors, we have to go back to basics. We have to start educating people on the understanding that when you adjust a person from baby to birth, is to allow them to express themselves, to have a better brain-body control, that the body is now working the way it should, not because of you, but because there is an innate wisdom within every inch and every one of us that created us as a human being and a mother, that she never had to go to school, by the way. She never had to do anything. And then when the baby was born, it knew how to suck, it knew how to eat dirt, to get their immune system up. It did everything, and then some idiot goes out there and says, they're too stupid, we have to give these vaccinations.